This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.
Good morning. Wow, I'm red today. Damn. I got a little burnt out there this weekend. Morning, everyone. Welcome back. Game 7 tonight, man. That's insane, isn't it? Game 7. I think the Oilers are going to win. I want them to win. I've wanted them to win the whole time. And man, what a series it is. Buenos dias, bonjour, buongiorno. Morning. Doing good, chef. How about you? I did not watch the soccer game. I forgot about it, actually. US 1-2-0. Yeah. I always I played soccer my whole life, but I don't like watching it. I don't know why. I don't know why. Did it transition at the right time there, Praj? I didn't even know. I can't hear it on my end when it's playing. I wish I could. Morning, guys. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Yeah, I think U.S. should do pretty well in the Copa. I think maybe just Argentina, Brazil. But I heard Brazil's not that good this year, or hasn't been that good lately. Yeah, I don't know, Hamster. I just don't enjoy watching it as much as some do. Couldn't tell you why. I like watching hockey. Hockey is my number one sport, by far. All right. We'll wait a few minutes for some people to jump in. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Nice pullbacks on Friday into some of our key levels, which is very good. Into some of our key S&P and SPY retest levels, which was very clean. Which is what you can see in the live stream title today. Those retests on the SPY and the ES were really nice levels that held pretty well on Friday, but not anything that makes me think we're ready to really get aggressive on the upside yet. But definitely some pullbacks on Friday and on Thursday to some nice levels, some nice holds. And we shall see. Today is going to be an interesting day because you're sitting pretty damn close to some major levels on the Nasdaq, the QQQ, And we're going to need to hold these. We're going to need to hold these levels. If not, we could definitely see a little bit more slippage. So we saw that Nvidia pullback, which was very nice. Very nice. On the downside. Actually caught a piece of that on Friday. And if you guys did not see, posted my P&L on Twitter and on Instagram, or on X and Instagram. If you guys want to follow me, it's on the bottom left of your screen. So far on the month, about 12,000, and we're heading into the last week of June. So looking for a strong end of the week or end of the month. Yeah, looks like some opportunity out there. So excited to get after it. What else happened? Yeah, just semiconductor pullbacks after, really extended moves, which is totally normal and something we should be paying attention to. A little bit of outperformance on some of the Dow names as of late. Obviously, a little bit of movement into a little bit more safety names, a little rotation there over the last 2 days of last week. And I think the VIX, a little elevated on the VIX, into the end of the week as well. A little elevation there. So an interesting end of the week, and I think definitely an opportunistic week, it seems like, to me, with some of the movement we saw to close out the week. So excited. Let's get after it. Let's focus on the levels. And what time is it? 8:04? About to be 8:05. Looks like it's game time. So press that like button if you guys could. Early likes, man, they help a lot. Press that like button if you guys are just rolling in and want to support the stream. Press that like button. Subscribe if you're new here. And here we go. So let's start with the economic calendar. So not much today. We have another FOMC member speaking at 2 o'clock. So really nothing much going on today on the economic side. Tomorrow we have consumer confidence at 10. So not too much there. We do have consumer confidence 10 o'clock tomorrow. A couple of things here early morning, 9 o'clock. I don't think anything too major. So pretty light there. Pretty light on Wednesday as well. We have home sales at 10 o'clock. We have crude oil inventories at 10:30. So a pretty light start to the week in terms of economic, both Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursdays where it picks up a little bit. We got the GDP. We got our normal unemployment claims. We got our pending home sales at 10 o'clock. So a few things going on there on Thursday. And then Friday we have the PCE and we have the consumer sentiment. PCE 8:30 pre-market, 10 o'clock consumer sentiment. So, yeah, nothing too big in the first half of this week, but it looks like it gets a little bit heavier Thursday and Friday, right? Thursday, we got our GDP, we got our unemployment, we got our home sales, we got our PCE, we got our consumer sentiment. So, gets a little bit heavier there, but first 3 days of this week, not too much to worry about. Maybe we just watch this consumer confidence at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Always when we have that data at 10 o'clock, I typically like to wait. That's exactly what we did on Friday. If you guys were with me trading on Friday, we waited for this data to come out, which was the right move, right? We waited for this data to come out, and we caught the action after that. We didn't have to try to guess for the first 15 minutes of the market, which ended up being a very good thing there. So, yeah, that's that. Any earnings this week? I don't think so. Yeah, we got a few. Let me go ahead and pull that up just to show you guys. Earnings is sort of fading away here. We have our sort of stragglers. We do have Micron this week, which is interesting. So you can see right here. This is the earnings calendar for the week. Shout out Breadman. FedEx. I mean, really just Micron. Probably the biggest one of the week. Micron on Wednesday for the semiconductors. You got Nike on Thursday. Yeah, if you're interested. This is this Walgreens? I think that's Walgreens. What is that? I can't see it. It's so blurry. What is this? I think that's Walgreens logo. What is that, guys? Anyone know that? Can anyone see that? Can we zoom in? Let's zoom in here. I think it's the Walgreens boot, whatever their real name is, Boots Alliance. What is their Boots Alliance? Yeah, that's it. WBA. So you got Walgreens there. I never really understood why it's called that, but it is. So that's on Thursday as well. But besides that, not much going on. All right. Nasdaq, let's get into the levels. Let's get into the setups. Let's take a look at what happened on Thursday, Friday, and this week, because there is some nice stuff that's going on here, right? Take a look at this. This is that Monday low. Remember we talked about straight up? Well, you got straight down, right? It always happens. It's just a matter of when. When you get straight up moves, you're always going to be looking for that pullback. That's always going to happen. Remember, we still have this straight up move, which we have not gotten the straight down yet. So that's still something that's looming over here. But we definitely saw the straight up, straight down move, right, that we talk about all the time on this live stream. Now, this is going to be major here. This 19,900. I believe this is probably the most important level of the week. Actually, the ES levels I think are more important, but this is definitely the most important level of the week for the Nasdaq, right? We can see previous highs, previous highs, previous highs, previous lows, previous lows. That is major stuff right there, right? 19,900. You can see both Thursday and Friday, we just sat above that level. Every drop got bought up. Every drop got bought up. Every drop, question mark, right? What happens here? Does this get bought up again today, right? Does this 19,900 turn into your demand low today? And do you see upside come off of it? That's the biggest question of the day, right? That is that Monday low. That is that hold on Friday of that prior week. We have that rejection, that rejection, that rejection, that rejection. 19,900 looks to be very important today, okay? So that's big. If we start breaking under that level, guys, if we do get under this level, this 19,900 level, and we do start to see some weakness below it, similar to something like this, right? If we stay in this sort of down, lower low, lower high setup, then you're coming back down to here, right? Then you're looking at 19,760. So you can see on Thursday, Friday, we made lower highs, right? We started to turn these lows into new highs. If we continue to stay in that type of formation and we see this, right, our next test is down here at 19,760. So this is going to be big, right? 19,900. Does it hold today? Does it create that upside opportunity? Something I will be watching. You can see if we zoom in on the 15-minute chart, we had some very strong wick holds at near that 19,900. Does this maintain? If it does, maybe a trade back higher. But the thing I want to point out here, guys, is right now you have a very defined channel here, right? Over Friday and Thursday of last week. So if you do catch longs today, right? If you do find a long today off this 19.9, this is only a scalp, right? And we've been talking about this a lot in the live stream, but also much more in the Discord. We've been talking about how the market has provided scalps, but we are not going to trust upside much further than 20,085, right? If we do find a long today off 19.9, you are only looking for a long into this level. You can't really look for much more. It's not logical, right? It's not logical to long here and hope for us to go to all-time highs, okay? Because this could just be a little long that you could find some entries off of into the supply level at 20,085, which could do basically this, right? We don't want to long here and hope that it breaks out. We could simply just see this, a rejection again, and another downside move. So we're in a tight range, right? We need to trade. We need to respect what the market is showing us. We can't just hope for something that the market is not showing. The market right now is showing we're in this range. And if we're going to trade this range, we're trading longs here. We're taking profits here. We're taking shorts here. We're taking profits here, right? And that's really all we can trade right now. This is all the market is showing us. This is all the market is providing us, right? You instead of trying to guess what's going to happen, let's just do what the market's doing. Let's just trade what the market's giving. The market is giving this, right? And so if we want to take some longs today, we have lower expectations. We're just looking for scalps to the upside off key demand. We're not looking for major breakouts. That's not what the market's doing right now. If it does do that, right, let's say the market does break down below 19.9, then we can look for the continuation move, right? Because then we know we're outside that channel. If we do break over the 20,085, then we can look for that continuation move up to 20,160. 20,160 is, you can see right here, this major previous low, right? 20,160. So if we do break the 20,085, right? Let's say we move higher, we get above this today, we start to hold it, right? Then you're looking at the 20,160, which is your next major rejection spot, right? So I'm not that in love, right, with the upside. We need to really get the market to prove to us that is going to hold 19.9, right? That market needs to prove to us today that it is going to hold this level very strong before we can really get that much confidence in upside. There was some nice longs on Friday, right, off this level on Thursday, right? There was some opportunities off this low to push back to the upside, but it was never that long lasted, right? It was never, okay, this is your long for that next higher high, higher low setup. It's not there yet. So we can't get that excited over it just quite yet. But we can definitely monitor what happens at 19.9. So let's watch that 19.9 and let's watch that 20,085. That is extremely clear today. We see that channel on the Nasdaq. You can see it right here, right? And so if we're going to trade this channel today, that's how we're going to have to come in. That's the mindset we got to come in with. Possible longs off 19.9, take profits into 20,085. If we get under that 19.9, you're looking for that drop towards that 19,760. And that's about it. QQQ, it's the same thing, right? If we go to the QQQ, we can see, and we're sort of breaking it right now, which I don't love. I think it's the 478.50, right? If we sort of zoom in here, you guys can see. I'll go ahead and do it like this. You can see right here, right? We had that 479, 478.50 zone right here. And that was the level that attempted or did hold on Friday. And it's holding here in the after hours, right? And we're sitting right at it right now. So we need to get a bounce off this level. If we do not bounce off this zone here today, I think you will see movement lower, possibly down into that 476.50 and possibly down into that channel low around 474.50, right? So this is an important spot. It looks like you could it looks like you might be able to drop this down to 478. It's possible, right? If we look at this real quick, let's zoom in. If we look at Monday's lows right here, this is 478. This is 478, 478, 478. So we might want to include 478 here, actually, now that I'm re-looking at this. We might want to have 478 on our QQQ as a potential hold, right? Look at this 478 here. So this 478, I think, is your spot on the Qs. 478, right there. Bam. If we break that, I think downside, okay? If we see 478 fail today, I would say downside is going to come in. Under 478, you trade lower into the 476.50. You trade lower into the 474.50. Really, it would look like this to me, right? Deleting that 476.50. Really, I would assume if you break under 478, you move into the channel lows right here into 474.50. That would be my assumption if we do get weak under 478 here, right? I would expect the QQQ to travel down towards that channel low right there and right there at 474.50. So that would also be a very important break in sort of structure here. If we do break that 478, that could lead to some weakness. So this is definitely a big spot that you want to see hold if you are looking for longs. QQQ 478, that looks like a major spot today. I would very much be focused on that. That is the same level as this 19.9, right? 19,900 equals 478 on the QQQ. That is that Monday low that is attempting to hold right now. Breaking under 478 causes weakness, in my opinion. If you maintain 478, you have that opportunity to possibly long this back into 483, right? 483 is that channel high right here. S&P 500, major retest, major. And you guys can see that is the title of this live stream. This is big stuff, right? And we've talked about the market pulling back to this level. And if you Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on X. We talked about this Friday morning. We said the bulls have to defend this level, this 55.18, 55.10. That is this retest zone. All right, we can see right here, 55.18, 55.10. And you can see the S&P for now has defended that level. It has defended the retest level. This is your previous highs that are turning into potential new lows. This ES 55.18, 55.10 zone must hold. That's a must hold if you want to see this market sort of maintain and continue higher. If we break under 55.10, I think you trade into the 54.90. I think you trade into the 54.70. Okay? That 55.10, 55.18 zone is the level, is the zone that I really believe has to maintain for bullish action to maintain in the short term. With that break, if we do break it, I think you will fall back under, right? And you will start to trade in this zone, which would be right here, right? If you fall back under 55.10, then you will trade, and 55.18, you will trade back down to 54.90. You could trade back down to 54.70. You will start to trade in the zone that was trading previously right here, right? So you want to see these previous highs turn into new lows for this structure to remain bullish, right? This is how the market's trading, right? It does consolidation, it breaks out, it pulls back to the previous highs, and and if you want to see upside continuation, you have to consolidate and hold above these previous highs. If you do not, and you fall back under these highs, right, you are going to trade back in this channel, which could cause more weakness on the market. So that is going to be huge. 55.10, 55.18, you can see it definitely held on Friday. If we go to the 5-minute chart, we can take a look at the reactions there. Look at the 5-minute chart on Friday. Every extension down towards that 55.18 bought up very aggressively, bought up here at 55.18. This has to hold. If this does not, you are going to see downside. Okay? So, very nice, right? Very nice. Very clean. Look at this hourly chart. Look how clean that is. That's going to be your level to watch today. 55.10, 55.18. It doesn't matter what you think, Sam. If you think we need a pullback, sure, right? That's fine. But we have to break levels for that pullback to start. You can only trade once the market is showing you that it could happen, okay? We don't come into the day thinking we need a pullback and trade off that information. Whatever you think does not matter, okay? What matters is, does the level break? If it breaks, then your pullback idea could be validated and you could start to trade it. But we are not trading off our thoughts unless it actually starts to prove that it is correct. So right now, more pullback is not the right way to think because you are still holding above this low. You have to break this low. You have to. If you short here, right, and short into the levels that held on Friday and short into these previous highs, you could continue to see this and possibly this, right? It's still very possible. This could be a nice pullback into these previous highs that could create that new low and could create that new sort of springboard for more upside. So if we think we want pullbacks, guys, which I'm not saying it's wrong, right? I am not saying that more pullback is wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying your thought process is incorrect. What I'm saying is you can't trade off that until it actually proves that it's going to break the key level that needs to break, okay? That is the problem that we usually run into as traders. Oh my God, this market needs more downside. This is overextended. And we start shorting into very key levels that are holding, right? So this has to break if you want more downside. If you want to trade that pullback, watch this zone and wait for it to break. If it does, then I would say go for it, right? Start trading that idea. But until then, this is still a very bullish market structure, right? This is just a pullback of some of that Monday upside. This is a pullback into those previous highs. And if you guys pay attention to anything we talk about in this live stream, you know that a break and retest could be a very strong new long entry. It's very possible there. You have to be open to both sides here. Now, here's the problem. Okay, I will say, here is the problem for upside. There's a very clear reason why you do still need to be careful on the upside, and that is that you still do have rejection spots above, right? 55.50, 55.60. Those are two very clear rejection spots that could keep this market lower. So we still need to be aware of that. And you can see it's a very defined channel, similar to the Nasdaq. So what would I look for upside, right? What would I really want for upside? You can either try to long the 55.18, right? You could try to take that really aggressive, really high risk reward long down here, or you could simply wait for us to break over 55.60. If this ES gets back over 55.60, we are going higher, right? Because that is a major reclaim of these previous highs and lows. If you see a hold above 55.60 here, that is definitely your springboard, in my opinion, for upside continuation. But you would need to get through the 55.50. You would need to get through the 55.60 before you can get overly confident in upside continuation. Because what could we do here? We saw it Thursday. We saw it Friday. We could push higher. We could reject there. We could push higher. We could reject there. It's very possible. So right now, like we talked about on the Nasdaq, it's a very defined range. And we need to trade as if it is, which is right here between 55.60 and 55.18. Right? Look at how clear that range is right now. We'll go to the SPY. You guys can see right here, 30-minute chart. Look at how clear the retest hold is as we speak, right? You can very cleanly see this. This is so clean right now on the ES. You have major previous highs that we broke above, right? And we have traded back down into. This is still a bullish market structure. You are still above these previous highs. And they are right now, right? They are right now holding as lows. So if that holds, you have no business shorting into this level. If this level holds at 544 and 543.50, you have no business shorting into this level. This would be the worst short, right? It's the worst short to take in terms of levels right now. That is the worst risk reward. That is the worst trade to take right now. It is shorting into the Friday lows. That is the previous major highs. Okay? If you break below it, right? This is where people get all mixed up. They get all emotional. They get all pissed off at me. Because today, right, I just said this is the worst short, right? Someone's going to come back and say, look at the market. It went down today. You're dumb, right? That's probably because the S&P broke under 544, broke under 543.50, and started to reject, right? If you see that happen, and this is how traders make money, because the traders that make money can react to what the market's doing. If I see that start to happen today, then I am not just going to ignore that that's happening and just be a rock and not change my ideas. If we break below 544 and we break below 543.50 today, and we start to see maybe a little bear flag setting up there, that is the exact short entry you want to take, because that is a rejection of these previous highs, and that could absolutely trade us lower into 540. So it is not until that happens that you could take that trade, right? If it does do it, then you adjust and you take the trade, right? But, of course, there's always going to be people talking in hindsight. So that's just how it is. But I'm not, that's just, obviously those are just not real traders. So 544, 543.50, right? That is the previous highs. And right now you're holding them. If you hold this, you are not shorting. If you break below it and you turn it into rejections, then you are looking for shorts today under that level. Very important to pay attention to what happens right here, right? It was a key inflection point on Friday, and it will continue to be a key inflection point on this market. To the upside, we have very clear rejections at 546.50, and we have very clear rejections at 548.50, right? So if you do long this level today, you are only looking for longs into here, possibly into here. There is definitely potential rejections at these levels to be cautious of. Okay? All right. RTY. Oh, look at that. 2035. And you guys know I don't adjust this RTY chart. I literally don't watch it at all, which is maybe a problem, but I just haven't ever really needed to. But 2035, look at what's holding. You can see we've had this level on our charts clearly for quite some time. And you can see it's still trying to hold on there, that 2035 on the Russell. But man, does this upside just look really dangerous to me. It just doesn't quite look to be there. Every upside push has been sold into heavily. Look at this. Upside sold into. Upside sold into. I don't like longing into these sold into moves that you can very clearly see on this 4-hour chart. So, there's probably some kind of long here on the small caps off 2035, but man, it's hard to trust how long that actually moves after seeing all these selling into moves. Dow Jones sort of pushing back higher after some underperformance. You can see it's been maintaining. Where did it maintain? It maintained that 38,880. That was actually one of our key levels, right? That 38,880. Let me go ahead and clean this up a little bit. Yeah, see, look at that. That's these previous highs right here. See this? 38,880 were these previous highs. See that? Previous low. And look at how that's holding. See how these previous highs right here turned into lows? That's very interesting. So for now, the Dow is holding 38,880, a little bit of outperformance. Let's go into the 15-minute chart. And we have that 39.7 level. Look at 39.7 on Thursday. Look at 39.7 on Friday. Look at 39.7 right now. So 39,700, that is extremely clear on the Dow Jones. You're coming off a nice 100 SMA hold. Look at that right there. 100 SMA holding nicely. I would say if the Dow can hold above 39.7 today, you might see that upside continuation. All right. If the Dow turns Thursday and Friday highs, if the Dow turns Thursdays and Fridays highs into a new low today, that is a reason to look for upside continuation on the Dow Jones. So keep an eye on that, 39,700. Thoughts on 55.43 resistance, 55.43. It's there, man, but that's pretty short term. I mean, I see it. It's like right here, these previous lows. I have these highs on at 55.50. I think that's the more important spot. I definitely see what you're talking about, though. It's these lows from right here, around 55.42. Right, you can see right there. The reason, so here's my mindset, right? Here's why I don't put that level on my chart. It's just a personal thing, so you guys do what you want to do, but here's why I don't put that level on my chart, right? I don't put that level in my chart because I don't want to make a mistake by longing that level. Now, why would I not want to long this level? If I was to long over 55.42 today, I would be longing right into 55.50, only 8 points higher, which is a very clear rejection point, right? Look at how clear this 55.50 has been. So I just ignore that level personally, and I would just not long until you're over 55.50 in my eyes, right? I would definitely not long, me personally, if we're under 55.50. So I'm just not even worried about that 55.43. I just don't even want to play anything off of it because if I long above 55.43, I'm longing only 7 points higher into 55.50. That's not something I'm interested in. If anything, I'm looking for this to fade 55.50 at the rejection spots that have already shown, right? So, yeah, that's why. But, yeah, I mean, you could definitely have it on your charts. I don't think it's the wrong level. Like, it's definitely a level. You can see back here. Look at this. Hold, 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 hold. Very clear. 55.42, very clear. You can see it's definitely showing reactions at it. All right, if we sort of zoom in here on Friday, look at that. Rejection, 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 rejections here. So it's definitely a key level, but I'm just going to I like to keep my channel at the extremes. I like to make sure I'm not longing 55.43 into 55.50. I want to make sure I have those beefy levels. The 55.50 I think is beefy, and the 55.18, 55.10 is beefy. And I'm just going to trade within that zone. I wouldn't short 55.43 because I'd rather short 55.50, right? I'd rather short 55.50. I'd rather get to that extreme level and then short. I'd rather short there. That's just me personally. But yeah, I mean, you could try it. You could try it, but here's the thing, right? Some people will short 55.43. They'll stop out at 55.48, 55.49, and then they'll see this, and they're like, "Holy shit! Why did I take off my short?" Right? That's what I try to avoid, right? That's what I try to avoid. I don't want to short 55.43, stop out at 55.49, and then see 55.50 reject and go back to new lows. That is the last thing I want to see happen. So to avoid that, for me, I'm just going to keep my levels at the extremes, and if it gets to 55.50, then I know I have a really interesting trade on my hands. So, yeah, that's that. All right, 1,900 people, 600 likes, terrible. That's terrible. looks like we're running some ads here. We're running some ads. Get a drink of water. Maybe a second ad. If you guys could, all you got to do is press that like button. That would be fantastic. Subscribe to the channel would be great as well. And let's jump into a very interesting chart here. Man, does this feel like it's going to suck me in? It feels like it's going to. Raul, give me back my son. Shout out, Doc. Man, is this an interesting one here on Tesla, folks? If I lose on Tesla this week, don't blame me, all right? Don't blame me. Because Tesla's definitely looking slightly interesting for upside. This is a 4-hour chart that looks like it's basing above 180, basing above the 20 and 100 SMA. Looks like it's starting to try to build new lows, in my opinion. And if I go to the 30-minute chart, this is intriguing. You can see right here, we have a very clear 180 level that is starting to hold, right? 180, 180, 180. You can see that Thursday, Friday maintain of 180, which also is right above that 120 SMA, which I like, right? I like how it's trying to maintain that. Right here at 180 and that 20 and 50 or 20 and 100 SMA, just trying to maintain above it, which I do like, right? I do like that. The problem right now is this 186.50, right? You can see that's a very clear rejection spot at 186.50. So in my eyes, if we get above 186.50 today and we start to hold, I might be involved, right? I might try to get involved in this. 190 is also tough, so we do need to be aware of that, right? 190 could reject. It could do something like this, right? This is still possible. You could get a little fake out here and do something like this, which would be pretty nasty. It would be pretty nasty. But that is something you're going to have to just be aware of, right? If you do long 186.50 and you do start to see rejections at 190, you could get that, I'm not going to say it. You can get that 180, you can get that 190 rejection, right? So careful there, right? Careful there. But man, is that sort of interesting. Man, is that a little interesting going on here on Tesla over here. Definitely something I want to be watching, monitoring, getting an idea of what it's doing. Yeah. 180, you got yourself a little flag going on here. You obviously have that Elon pay package completed, and it's holding above that 50. It's holding above that 20. It's holding above that 100. Is this where this starts? That's exactly what I was going to say, Tiptoe. I don't know how you read my mind there, my friend, but that is exactly what I was going to say. I didn't want to say it, but there you go. We got to break over 186.50. Easy as that, okay? You don't try this until you break over 186.50, right? Tiptoe retraced his matches. You don't have to retrace it there. 186.50. That's going to be the spot. If we can get above that, I think you could maybe look for something towards 190. Over 190, if you guys just want to wait and you don't want to get sort of messed up, right, on a potential rejection, I think you just wait for 190 to break. If you see that, I think it's game time, right? Over 190, I think it's game time. All right? So that's it. We'll see. We'll see what it does. All right. Nvidia, you guys know I've had this golden zone on my chart, right? If you come to this live stream, you're probably like, what the hell is that yellow zone that's on Desi's chart every day? That's my golden zone there at 123. How is diluting shareholders by 45 billion bullish? Who diluted shareholders? And I'm talking about technicals here, okay? I'm talking about technical setups that are on the charts, not anything else. This is, again, it's like, man, just trade what's on the charts, okay? Trade short-term trades, make money off the short-term moves, pay attention to how the stock's trading. If it holds above this 186.50, there's definitely going to be a reason to look for upside. If it holds over 190, there's definitely going to be a reason to look for short-term upside. Just trade it, man, and stop worrying about everything that's going on. Okay, there's intraday technical opportunities every single day. If you can stop flooding your mind with everything macro that you think should be affecting the stock market and affecting the stock. All right, so Nvidia, right? We've gotten our very aggressive pullback, which is great, right? And it was really nice the way it came down, right? We had some very clean rejections of previous hold levels. Let me show you how this sort of set up. You can see right here, right? How this sort of moved lower was in a very clean fashion, right? We broke under this very important 129.50. We turned it into rejections. We broke under the 127. We turned it into rejections, right? Very nice. We broke under this 125. We turned it into rejections, right? So the way it moved lower was a very nice downside continuation, right? Very nice structure, lower high, lower low, downside move. Very nice, right? Very clean on Nvidia there. Now, you are down into that 123, which is huge. You can see right here, 123 is going to be big. And then below that, the 20 SMA at 120. These are both going to be levels that I look for. But I do not think you can long Nvidia here until it does something different, right? Because what is Nvidia doing right now? Look at this formation on Nvidia. This is a very clear previous lows, right? Look at how this stair-stepped lower into new highs. Previous lows into new highs, right? Look at this. Previous lows into new highs. And so look at what Nvidia is doing. It is stair-stepping lower. That is not a situation that you want to long Nvidia in. Look at how this is stair-stepping lower. Look how clean that is. Stair-step 1, stair-step 2, stair-step 3. This is stair-step 4, right? Look at how nice that's moving lower. Look at how clean that is. So you need this to change, okay? You need to see something like this where you stair-step back higher. You start doing this, right? You start stair-stepping back higher. You can maybe try to long this. You can long here. You can long on this one, right? You need that shift in Nvidia. That is probably the cleanest way to look at this chart, right? Look how you can just monitor how this trades based off these levels. So right now, I really do not think that you want to long Nvidia if it is below the Friday lows, right? Look at how nice that is. Friday lows at 125. Look at how it's rejecting this morning. You need to get above 125 before you can think about longing this pullback on Nvidia. That's at the very minimum. At the very minimum, it's got to get over 125. Has to. If it does, then you can look and you can attempt. Then you have to watch the levels. 127, you watch that. You watch 129.50, right? You keep watching that upside move. But for now, in the short term, this is a very clear stair-stepping lower move. And it could continue. It very well could continue. So we need that movement back to the upside before we can start trading this pullback to the upside. Let's watch 125 today. Let's watch 127. Let's keep an eye on the 123 holds. Let's look to see if this wants to pull back to that 20 SMA at 120. The very nice full pullback would be right here, right, to that 117. That could be where we need to come back down to before we see any buying come in, right? We might need to pull back to that low here from the earnings or from the split, right? This is when the split happened, back at that 117, okay? So keep an eye on that, right? Keep an eye on that. AMD, not much for you guys. AMD, still a shit show. Still, I hate it. I still hate AMD. It tried and it failed again. It failed back below the 20, back below 163. It's a fake move. It seems like, again, it's fake until it can hold above this 20 SMA. AMD has to get over and close the day above 163. Close the day, right? We need AMD to close the day over this 163. If it does not, I would not trust this to the upside. It got above 163 on Thursday, and it closed under 163. And you can see that caused weakness again. So for me, to long AMD, it's got to be above 163. If not, I'm not touching it. Right now, it's trying to hold 159. See if it does. If it does, you could maybe try to long that, right? You could try it, but you're longing in this zone, which I'd be very aware of, all right? TSM pullback has been coming in. Let's take a look at where it's pulling back to. You can see right here. Next level for me is this 170. Keep an eye on that 170. If we break 170, we move back down into that 166. We move down back into that 164. That 20 SMA is catching up. All right, and so what you guys can start to see, and we talk about this a lot on this channel, is that when you are extended over the daily 20, markets will want to pull back to them, right? We talk about this all the time. Look at that pullback to the daily 20. After the extension, we got a pullback to the 20. We got another extension. This could be that pullback to the 20. Okay, that's what Nvidia is doing as well, right? Nvidia is pulling back to that daily 20 after a very extended move over it. So it looks like, to me, what you're starting to see here is that a desire to retrace to some key levels, right? A desire to retrace to some more, earthly levels, right? Because, I'm not, and I talked about this with you guys on Friday and on Thursday. I said, hey, I will not disagree with anyone that says this is overextended. That is not what I'm here to do. I agree with you. But you need to wait for the breakdown to start. And it looks like it's possibly starting, right? Look at that trend. Look at that rejection on TSM. It looks like you're starting to get that flip. So this could be where that sort of retracement to some of these key levels start to come in. All right, so let's go to the 30-minute chart, and let's take a look at these levels today on TSM. Today, you have to break under 170 for more downside. That's very clear, right? 170 has to break. If you hold above that, you could push higher. You got to break under 170. If you do, I like 166. All right? If you pop back higher, look for, this is what else you want to look for, guys. You want to start looking for, if you think that this market is starting to do that sort of lower high, lower low movement, you need to start looking to see your short entries should be at previous lows, okay? That's where you really want to be thinking about where your short entries are. Your short entries should be on bounces and fades, okay? There's really no reason to short a gap down on TSM today. What I would want to see on TSM, if I wanted the best short entry today, would be a pop back into 174, back into the Thursday, Friday lows, and then look for that rejection move, right? Start to look for that pop and fade. That's what TSM did here, right? Look what TSM did here. It popped and faded the previous lows. So let's look for that again today. A pop and maybe a fade of the previous lows, around 174, 173.50. MU, also a pop and fade candidate here, right? If we reject the previous lows. So take a look at this, right? We have that 143.50, 144. You have those previous lows. I'm actually going to move that up to 144. I like 144 better. You can see right here, 144, and look at we're pushing back into it. Do we turn this 144 low into a rejection today? That's something I would watch. Above that, you have the 146.50. So 144, 146.50, two spots to watch to the upside. Here's the thing that TSM did, though. What did TSM do? Let's create a new drawing set. Let's do blank. What did TSM do, guys? It pulled back to the daily 20, right? See, we had that daily 20 hold. We got extended. We pulled back to it. We're at that daily 20 again. So we do need to be careful of shorting MU as it is coming off of that daily 20 SMA. So you can see right here. Look at that Friday drop. That daily 20 SMA held MU higher off that 135 and off that 139. So 139, very clear. 135, very clear. 20 SMA at 135. And then you can see right here, 144 and 146.50. ARM, really nothing on ARM for you today, guys. I mean, it's just sort of sideways in this channel. 150, 166, not much there. Yeah, MU does have earnings this week, so maybe something to stay away from. Qualcomm getting pretty weak. We can see right here. Let's take a look at this one. Qualcomm actually weak under 210. So this is interesting. This is sort of weak here. Look at this Qualcomm 210 level. 210, 210, 210, 210. It needed to hold there. It held there on Friday. Look at it failing under it right now. So if Qualcomm's under 210, I would say that's a short potential down into that 205. All right, so Qualcomm 210, keep an eye on that. That's also under the daily 20. SMCI, failure of that 930, very clear. It needs to hold here today. It has to hold here. 880 and that 100 SMA. I would even move it down to the 100 SMA to be safe if you want. I'm going to keep it at 880 because I know how to watch that 100 intraday as well. But make sure you have that 100 SMA on your charts. If this breaks under that 880 and that 100 SMA, you might see that continuation back down towards that 830. So SMCI 880 and that 100 SMA is a must hold today for that stock. I want to show you guys Meta. This one's sort of interesting to me. Why? Let's take a look at this blank drawing set. Take a look at this daily chart on Meta. Look at this little pullback to that 20 SMA, right? Extension, pullback, 20 SMA. Looks interesting here. Sort of interesting for upside if, of course, the market can maintain today. That's a big if. I don't know that yet. But if we go to the hourly chart, take a look at this Meta chart. All right, we've gotten a nice sort of slow pullback over the last few days back into this major 491 and that 20 SMA right there. Interesting. Let's make sure we watch that Meta 491 hold. Let's see if we can maintain above it. You do have rejections at 499. You have rejections at 505 to be aware of. But that is an interesting pullback over the last few days back into this 491 and back into that daily 20. Microsoft, I want to share because we talked about Microsoft, longing Microsoft off this 443, and man, did it do exactly what we wanted. So you can see right here, Microsoft, we talked about these previous highs right here turning into new lows. Look at how that worked, right? Break, retest, long, very nice. So Microsoft strong, 443, 444. However, look at this, right? Look how clear that is, 451. So what I would want to see at this point, if you're going to long Microsoft, you need a break and hold over 451. That's what you need. If you do not get that, you are longing right at channel highs. You cannot long here into this 451 rejection. If you can hold above 451, then you might be able to catch that upside move. So interesting there on Microsoft, 451 today. Amazon is pushing into all-time highs. I wanted to point that out today. You can see on this 4-hour chart, you have all-time highs at 190 on Amazon. You're pushing right into it. Watch that 190. Google is on a very interesting retest move. Take a look at this one. This is possibly one of my top watches today. Google strong on Friday. And look at the hold that is potentially coming in right above 180. Look at that. Previous high, previous high, previous high, previous high, previous high, previous high. Look at this. Look at what Google is potentially forming here. A break and hold above 180. That would be monstrous to watch today. If you can hold above 180, that is a pretty clear. And this is even on the 4-hour chart. Look at this 4-hour chart. Rejections, rejections, rejections. Look at how this is potentially trying to hold above today. If Google holds above 180 today, that is definitely a level to watch for that upside move. I would watch 180 very closely on Google today. All right, Shopify. Someone wanted to look at. Yeah, look. We don't look at Shopify much, guys, but we create levels, and look at how this is why levels are just so. If you can create them correctly, just look at how clean that is. We had this. It looks like we had this. Yeah, we had this 63 level on our charts. We had this 68 level on our charts and that 200 SMA. I remember talking about that. Look at that rejection. Look at the pullback right into 63, which was our demand level here, and look at the pounce off of it. So very nice there on Shopify, but hey, the trade's over, guys, okay? Why is this trade over? Why can you not trade this? You can no longer trade this play. This play is gone. And why is that? Because the people that make money in this market, in this trade, are either long here, right, or they shorted here. They did not take random entries in the middle of a channel, okay? You might be able to catch something, right? Maybe you long it today, you get lucky, it goes up to 68, you make some money. But I can tell you long term that is not going to work for you. The people that are making money on Shopify understood that 63 was demand. They longed it on Friday off 63, and they're reaping the benefits now, right? And they're going to sell into you when you start buying it at the supply level. So it's really not a trade anymore in my eyes. I would need to be long here, right? Or I need to be long above the supply at this point. There's only two entries here. It's either here or here, and that's it, right? That's it. So am I saying Shopify can't go higher? No, it absolutely can go higher. It can push into that supply high. But how do you structure that trade, right? That is a negative risk reward, or it's just a 1-to-1 at this point. It's really a negative risk reward, right? This is your risk reward on Shopify. If you were to long it today, this is your risk reward, right? Because why would you exit? Why would you exit Shopify if it's still above 63? Why would you exit longs? Probably because you're just down too much, right? I'm down too much. I'm down 20%. I need to exit. That's an arbitrary reason to exit. There's no reason behind that. You can only exit longs at this point if it's under 63. So if you enter today, this is your risk, and your reward is up into supply highs. That is a negative risk reward. That is not a trade I'm willing to take. So you got to think through these things before you take these trades, guys. What's at a key level? What's at a key demand? Stuff to be paying attention to. I wanted to look at Dell real quick. Yeah, nothing on Dell. It's under 144. Not interested. Let's get a quick peek at the Nasdaq before we head out. This is it. 19,900 today. QQQ. That 478, huge. If we break that, more downside. ES is just sitting right in the middle of a channel. Got to hold that 55.10. And SPY, got to hold that 543, 544 zone. You got to hold it. If you break under this today, guys, that is absolutely the reason to look for more downside. If you break under 543.50. Netflix, yeah, Netflix did a nice hold here at that 674. But where are you longing into Netflix now? You're longing it right into 690. Trade's really sort of done to me, right? This is your Netflix channel. Look at that, all right? You want to be long here. You want to be short here. I would say, guys, the thing that you need to watch more than anything today is whether the SPY holds this level. Do not get caught off guard. If that SPY starts breaking under 543.50, if that NASDAQ starts breaking under 19.9, do not, don't get caught off by that. Because if that breaks, you could get some rejections. You could definitely see some downside. I'll go over Apple real quick. Yep, Apple, this is an interesting spot, 205. Right, 205. That's what I would be watching. But you need market maintain today before you can start to look long. I'd be careful of rejections right here at 211. All right, you could see that. All right. That's all I got. If you guys could, press that like button if you enjoyed the live stream. If it helps you set up your days, if it helps you set up your levels, I'd appreciate your likes and your subscribes. That goes a long way. Still can't get more than about 50% of people to press the like button, which is 50% of you are nice people. 50% of you are lazy. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future.